Now in South Florida, students are preparing to return to their school this week. Yesterday, they were allowed in to collect their backpacks left behind when they fled the school that had just become a crime scene. Diego Pfeiffer is one of those students getting ready to go back to class on Wednesday, and he joins me now from Parkland, Florida. And thank you for being with us today, Diego. We know that this can be a difficult time, certainly for you and your classmates. We wanted to first ask you were just listening to our Washington correspondent and the comments from the U.S. president. He said that he would have rushed in unarmed to stop the school shooter. What do you make of the president's comments today?
Well, I think that the idea of a human life and one's own life isn't always as it doesn't seem as important as when you're in a dangerous situation. And once you're in that dangerous situation, you jump into survival mode and you try to save yourself. And honestly, that's obviously what those police officers did, who decided not to run into the school and tried to save their own life instead of the lives of the people they were sworn to protect. Now, obviously, this is not something that should have happened, but I can completely understand the need to protect one's own life. Now, the fact that Donald Trump decided that he thinks that he would act somehow better than these police officers who were trained to do this, honestly, a little laughable. I'm not gonna lie. But, I mean, if that's what he believes, he can go ahead. That's not his job right now, and I doubt he'll ever be in that situation. So he can go ahead and say those things. What he should be saying, though, is that what we can actually do about policy-wise, how we can have it not happen in the first place.
Now, Diego, there's certainly obviously a lot of conversation in Washington about what happened at your school. Also, you were part of the group that went to Tallahassee to discuss it as well. So you returned to school 2 weeks after the shooting that happened in Parkland. 17 people killed, 14 of them were your fellow students. How are you feeling today as you prepare to head back?
I can tell you that it does not feel like 2 weeks. So many things have happened since then. And quite frankly, I'm feeling pretty good, not gonna lie. Just because I've had the support of my teachers who I've seen, my friends who I've been with this entire time. We're all holding each other together, and we're all headed back to school. So I'm happy to go, and I'm happy to support those that are gonna be there. I want to see all the people that I haven't gotten to see. I'm a little excited, not gonna lie, because I always liked school. I always liked being there, learning, being with teachers and friends. It's not a safe place anymore, but it's still a place that I enjoy being at.
There certainly must be a lot of mixed emotions for you, as you mentioned, because you say that there's been a lot of support for you and your classmates as you gear up to go back to class following 2 weeks after that shooting. And we hear that also you did lose some close friends in that shooting, and our sympathies to you and your classmates and your family as well. With that in mind, given how difficult that must be to deal with, what have you done to prepare to come back to class? And, you know, these might have been friends who would have sat beside you in class before, and now they will be empty seats. How are you preparing for that?
It's a hard thing to think about, obviously. And I've been mourning, and I've visited the memorials and the graves, and I've gone to funerals and everything. A very close friend of mine actually did sit next to me the period before all of this happened, and when I heard about the idea of like an empty seat when we went back into classes, I definitely almost fainted. I definitely had to sit down and think for a couple of seconds. It's hard, obviously, but we're all there together. Everybody's dealing with the same issue. So if any place, school is the one place where everybody understands what you're going through now. And to prepare specifically, I've been mourning. I've been trying to think about all the great memories I had with that person, all the great memories that I had with all the people that I lost, and trying to learn as much as I can about everybody else who didn't make it. It's a little bit of a guilty feeling when you survive and they don't, because you were lucky, but you got to take that guilt and you got to push forward and you got to try to do something about it. And that's what I hope we're doing.
Well, Diego, we are happy to hear that you feel supported as you return to classes. Diego Pfeiffer is a high school senior preparing to return to class this week after that deadly Florida shooting earlier this month. Thank you, Diego. Stay with us. You're watching CBC News Network. We're back in just a moment.